Have you ever stopped for a second and really thought? What makes someone in their 70s feel fully alive, while others the same age seem like they've already given up? You know what I'm talking about. Two people, same age, same generation, same number of candles on the cake. One of them still gets up early to water the garden, crack a few jokes, maybe even go for a walk. The other spends most of the day in the same chair, eyes fixed on the TV, waiting for time to pass. Why is that? It's not just luck. It's not just good genes. There's something deeper going on. See, some folks between 65 and 80 are out there climbing hills, mentoring their grandkids, dancing at weddings, and living every day like a gift. While others, they're slowly fading into the background, feeling like the best years have come and gone. But here's the thing, if you're still doing these 7 things I'm about to share with you, yes, you're not just getting older. You are aging exceptionally. You are part of a small group of people who are defying expectations, breaking the mold, and proving that this stage of life, it can be full of purpose, strength, joy, and wisdom. And maybe no one's told you that lately. That you, right now, might be doing better than you think. And let me tell you, this matters. Because aging doesn't have to be about decline. It can be a time of real growth. Of confidence. Of clarity. Of contribution. But only if we recognize what exceptional aging actually looks like. So, in this video, I'm going to walk you through 7 simple but powerful signs that show you're not just surviving these later years. You're thriving. Even if no one else has noticed it yet. By the end, you'll see just how much your body and mind are still capable of, and maybe, you'll look at yourself a little differently. And if someone comes to mind as you watch this, maybe a friend, a parent, your spouse, someone who's still going strong, share this with them. Let them know they're not alone in this journey. And hey, if this sounds like you, or someone you love, leave a comment below and type, "Still going strong." Let's see just how many of us are still in the game. And don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss a new video here on Elderly Wisdom Tips, where we shine a light on aging with dignity, energy, and grace. Ready to see if you've still got what it takes? Let's dive in. Let me ask you something simple. Can you walk a mile without stopping? I don't mean a power walk or race. I'm talking about a steady, comfortable pace, just you, your breath, and the rhythm of your steps. Because if you can, that's no small thing. In fact, it's extraordinary. Now picture this, Mary, 72 years old. Every morning, just after the sun rises, she laces up her sneakers, grabs her sun hat, and steps outside. Rain or shine, summer or winter, she walks her neighborhood block. She says it clears her head, helps her think better. And honestly, it shows. She's sharper, calmer, stronger. Not because of some fancy medication or expensive treatment, because of that walk. Every single day. See, walking a mile may seem ordinary, but it tells us a lot about what's happening inside your body. That kind of endurance. It means your heart is still strong. Your lungs are still working hard for you. Your bones still holding steady. Your joints and muscles still showing up, step after step. And you may not think of it this way, but being able to walk a mile at your age, without needing to stop, without feeling dizzy or short of breath, that's a sign your body is still fighting for you. Now, a lot of people believe needing a cane, or skipping the walk entirely, is just what happens with age. It's normal, they say. I'm just old. But here's the truth they don't hear enough: yes, aging brings change. But slowing down too much, avoiding movement altogether, that often comes from underuse, not just age. Muscles shrink when we don't use them. Joints stiffen when we stop moving. Balance fades when we stop challenging it. And guess what? A cane doesn't have to be your future. A wheelchair doesn't have to be your destiny. For many, those outcomes aren't just about age, they're about habit. So, if you're still walking freely, even if it's not fast, even if it's not far, you're holding on to something powerful. Don't let anyone downplay that. Now, maybe you're not walking a mile just yet. That's okay. Start with a few steps around the house. Or take a loop around your hallway, or the grocery store aisle, or the mall with a friend. The goal isn't to be fast, it's to be consistent. Because walking, simple as it sounds, is one of the greatest gifts your body can still give you. It keeps your blood flowing, your muscles active, and your independence alive. So, celebrate it. If you're walking that mile, you're already doing what many thought wasn't possible. But movement alone doesn't define exceptional aging. What's going on in your mind matters just as much. So let me ask you, how's your memory these days? Let's talk about it. You ever get a call from an old friend you haven't spoken to in years, and before they even finish saying hello, you remember their birthday, their spouse's name, even the exact color of the car they drove in high school? That's no small feat. That's not just something you happen to remember. That is your brain, still sharp, still alert, still full of life. At this stage of life, being able to remember names, dates, appointments, even what you had for dinner 2 nights ago, that's not just trivia. That's a sign of strong, healthy neural pathways. Your brain's still firing, still building connections, still retaining and retrieving information. And that matters. A lot. See, memory isn't just about remembering where you left your keys. It's about staying independent. It's about making your own decisions. It's about feeling in control of your life. Now look, we've all had those little lapses, walking into a room and forgetting why, searching for a word mid-sentence. That's normal. It happens at every age. But here's where people get tripped up. There's this misconception that any kind of forgetfulness must mean something serious, like Alzheimer's. And while it's important to take cognitive decline seriously, not every slip in memory is a warning sign. What's dangerous is ignoring it entirely, or brushing it off so often that you miss the early signs when they do appear. So, if you're still recalling birthdays, recognizing voices, remembering old stories with detail, be proud of that. That's your mind telling you it's still vibrant, still working hard for you. And you can keep it that way. Simple things make a big difference. Read a chapter of a book every day. Challenge yourself with a crossword puzzle or memory game. Even better, learn something new. A language, a hobby, a skill you've always wanted to try. Because your brain, it's a muscle. And just like the body, if you use it, it stays strong. But cognitive health is only part of the picture. What about your physical control, your ability to stay steady, stay upright? Let's talk about your balance. Picture this. John, 78 years old, standing in the living room while his grandkids count out loud. 1, 2, 3, he's standing on one leg. No support. No wobble. No hesitation. Just calm, controlled balance. And when he hits 10 seconds, they all cheer like he's just scored a goal. What John may not realize is, he just showed us something really important. Balance is one of the quiet indicators of how well your body is aging. It reflects not just muscle strength, but the health of your nervous system, the clarity of your focus, and your brain's ability to coordinate with your body in real time. In fact, studies show that your ability to stand on one leg, especially beyond age 65, is a strong predictor of overall longevity. It means your muscles, your reflexes, and your brain are still in harmony. Now here's the myth: falls just come with age. That's what so many people are told. But it's not the full truth. Yes, falls become more common with age, but they are not inevitable. Poor balance often comes from inactivity, not just age itself. Think about it. If you stop challenging your body to stay upright, to make small corrections in posture, to respond to tiny shifts in your footing, your body forgets how to do it. But the good news is, you can train balance. Just like anything else. You don't need a gym membership. Try standing on one leg while brushing your teeth. Practice slow, controlled movements with Tai Chi. Or hold a yoga pose while holding onto a sturdy chair for support. Even 5 minutes a day makes a difference. Because balance isn't just about avoiding falls, it's about staying confident. Standing tall. Moving without fear. Knowing you can trust your own body. And when your body cooperates like that, it lifts something even deeper, your emotional strength. Let's talk about it. Because physical health is powerful, but emotional resilience? That's the real foundation of exceptional aging. Imagine Eleanor. She's 76. A few months ago, she lost one of her dearest friends. They had coffee every Wednesday, talked on the phone like clockwork. When her friend passed, it hit her hard. For weeks, she barely spoke. She'd sit in silence, just staring out the window. The house felt too quiet. The days, too long. But slowly, Eleanor did something extraordinary. She didn't ignore the pain. She allowed herself to feel it. Then, she reached out. She joined a local grief support group at the community center. She started tending her garden again, planting tomatoes and marigolds like she used to. And one morning, she smiled for the first time in weeks. Not a forced smile, a real one. That's resilience. Bouncing back after life knocks you down. Not pretending it didn't hurt, but deciding it won't define you. At your age, you've seen a lot. Losses, illnesses, disappointments, they've come and gone. But if you're still finding ways to laugh, to love, to connect, that makes you exceptional. Science backs this up too. Emotional resilience isn't just about feeling good, it actually strengthens your immune system. It reduces inflammation. It lowers your risk of depression, even heart disease. And yet, people often assume that sadness in older age is just a given. They're just lonely. They're just grieving. But here's the truth, aging doesn't mean you stop finding joy. It just means you have to go looking for it with more intention. So, if you've been through something hard, and found your way back to peace, to purpose, you're stronger than most. And if you're still rebuilding, that's okay too. Start small. Join a club. Volunteer at the library. Call someone you trust. Even just stepping outside and saying hello to a neighbor, that's progress. Because resilience is a muscle of the soul. And every time you use it, it grows. But emotional strength isn't the only sign of vitality. Let's talk about something that might surprise you. How strong is your handshake these days? It might seem small, right? A handshake. A firm grip on a jar. Holding a grocery bag without your hand trembling. But here's the secret, grip strength is one of the quiet power signals of your entire body's health. Let me explain. You're 75, maybe 80. You go to shake someone's hand, and it's still firm. Solid. Not a bone crusher. But strong, steady, confident. That moment. That simple grip. It speaks volumes. Because research shows grip strength isn't just about your hands. It reflects your overall muscle mass. It ties directly to your cardiovascular health. Even your risk of developing chronic illnesses. Strange, right? But your hands are a mirror for your body's internal strength. And yet, when the grip starts to weaken, people often say, "Oh, it's just arthritis." That may be true in some cases, sure. But often, it's something bigger. Muscle loss. Nerve decline. Lack of daily use. The good news? Just like walking or balance, grip strength can be rebuilt. You don't need a gym. You don't need fancy machines. Start with resistance bands. Use a small hand gripper while watching TV. Even wringing out a towel by hand, or squeezing a tennis ball daily, makes a difference over time. Why does it matter? Because your hands help you hold on to life. Literally. Opening doors. Cooking for yourself. Holding your grandchild's hand. That strength is your connection to independence. So, if your handshake is still strong, you're already ahead of the curve. And if it's not, now's the time to rebuild it. From your hands, to your heart. Let's move into the next sign of exceptional aging, something even deeper than physical strength. Let's talk about connection. Because how connected you are, to people, to purpose, to community, might just be the strongest indicator of all. Let me introduce you to Frank. He's 79 years old, retired, and his knees aren't what they used to be, but every Sunday, without fail, he hosts brunch for his children and grandkids. His house smells like pancakes, laughter bounces off the walls, and his face lights up every time someone walks through the door. Frank's calendar. Always full. He plays chess on Tuesdays with an old army buddy. Thursdays, he checks in on his neighbor who recently lost her husband. And every evening, he calls his brother, just to talk about life, or sports, or the weather. That kind of connection. That's gold for your health. You see, social engagement is more than just nice to have. It's essential. Science tells us that staying socially active, especially between ages 65 and 80, can literally reduce your risk of dementia. It strengthens your brain. It even helps your heart. But here's the problem. So many people believe that loneliness is just a part of getting older. They say, well, everyone moves on. People get busy. That's just how it is. But that mindset, it's dangerous. Loneliness isn't just a feeling. It's a health hazard. Isolation raises your risk for depression, high blood pressure, and even premature death. It's like smoking 15 cigarettes a day, that's how harmful loneliness can be. But the solution isn't complicated. Connection doesn't always mean parties or packed rooms. Sometimes, it's just a phone call. A walk with a friend. A weekly card game or a quick visit to your local community center. Host a simple dinner, even just soup and bread. Join a group at your church, your library, your park district. Or start your own, a book club, a walking group, even a video chat once a week. Because when you're seen, when you're heard, when you matter to someone else, your body and mind respond in the most powerful ways. And here's the beautiful part, meaningful relationships aren't just about receiving love. They're also about giving it. So, if you've built a life where you still feel connected, where people look forward to hearing from you, then you, my friend, are aging exceptionally. But we're not done yet. Because there's one more sign, maybe the most important one of all. It's something you won't see in the mirror, or feel in your knees. But it drives everything else. Let's talk about purpose. Let me tell you about Ruth. She's 81 years old, soft-spoken, with eyes that shine when she talks about books. Every Monday, she volunteers at her local library. She shelves books, reads stories to kids, and helps people find what they're looking for. When someone asked her why she still does it, she smiled and said, "It gives me a reason to get up every morning. I feel like I'm still part of something." That right there. That's purpose. And purpose, no matter your age, is what keeps the human spirit alive. It's what gets you out of bed when your joints ache. It's what brings meaning to your days, long after the career ends or the kids are grown. Scientists have studied this. People who feel purposeful, whether it's volunteering, mentoring, creating, helping others, they live longer. They have lower inflammation, fewer hospital visits, and a stronger immune system. It's like having an internal compass that always points toward vitality. But there's a dangerous myth out there. That after retirement, after the kids leave home, after the spotlight dims, your purpose fades. Not true. In fact, that's when your legacy begins. Maybe your purpose now is being the glue that holds your family together. Maybe it's writing your story, sharing your wisdom, comforting a neighbor, or making someone smile. Your purpose doesn't have to be big. It just has to be yours. So, ask yourself, what gives your day meaning? What makes you feel useful, alive, needed? Find that thing, and do it. Even just a little. Even just today. Because if you're still waking up with a reason, with a goal, with something, or someone, to care for, then you are not just surviving. You're thriving. Aging, it's not always graceful, is it? There are days when the joints ache before you even open your eyes. There are mornings when the mirror doesn't quite reflect how you feel inside. And there are moments, quiet, lonely ones, when you wonder if the best parts of life are already behind you. But then, you go for that walk. You remember a friend's birthday. You help your grandchild with their homework. You cook a meal, water your plants, or laugh, really laugh, with someone who knows your soul. And in those moments, you realize something. You're not just getting older. You're thriving. These 7 signs. They're not random. They're not just check marks on a list. They're proof, real, living proof, that your body, your mind, and your heart are still working together to give you quality of life. And that's something to be proud of. See, most people spend their time worrying about what they're losing as they age, their energy, their memory, their freedom. But what if we flip that perspective? What if, instead of focusing on what's slipping away, we celebrated what's still here? Your ability to walk, to remember, to stand tall, to connect deeply, to care fiercely, to live with purpose, these aren't small things. These are monuments of resilience. So, here's what I want you to do today. Take just 5 minutes, yes, just 5. Test yourself gently. Can you walk a little further? Can you remember a few important dates? Can you balance for 10 seconds? Can you call someone you care about? Can you say, truthfully, that today has meaning? And if you're doing even some of these things, I want you to celebrate. Not quietly. Not later. Now. Because while others might see age as a time of decline, you, just by being here, are proving that it can be a time of strength, and dignity, and love. And maybe, you've noticed a few places where things aren't quite as strong. That's okay, too. This isn't about being perfect, it's about noticing, and then gently improving, step by step, breath by breath. You see, every day you wake up with clarity in your thoughts, with steadiness in your step, with even a flicker of joy in your heart, that's not ordinary. That's exceptional. So, let's stop thinking of aging as something to fear. Let's start thinking of it as a badge of honor. You've earned your strength. You've earned your wisdom. And now, more than ever, you're in a position to live with grace, and to inspire others with how well you do it. You're not just surviving these years. You're defining them. And that is the true power of aging with purpose. So, let's bring it all together. If you can walk a mile without stopping. If you can recall names and birthdays without needing a notebook. If you can stand on one leg for 10 seconds. If you can bounce back after a bad day, not just emotionally, but with heart. If your handshake still feels strong and steady. If you keep relationships alive and rich. And if you wake up each day with a reason to keep going, something that gives you joy or meaning. Then let me say this to you plainly. You're doing better than most. You're not just aging, you're thriving. You are the living proof that age is just a number, and that strength, real, lasting strength, comes from how you live, not how many candles are on your birthday cake. But now, I want to hear from you. Which of these 7 signs did you see in yourself today? Or maybe, Which one reminded you of someone special in your life? Is it your father who still fixes things around the house? Your mother who never forgets a single birthday? Your neighbor who always waves with a smile no matter the weather? Tell me about them in the comments below. I read every single one, and trust me, your stories matter. This is how we build a community. Not just of older adults, but of wise, powerful people who choose to age with intention. If this video helped you reflect on your own journey, if it gave you hope, or just made you feel a little prouder of where you are today, go ahead and give it a like. It really does help us reach more people who need this kind of reminder. And if you want more insight, more encouragement, more ways to keep your body strong and your spirit even stronger, then hit that subscribe button. Tap the bell so you never miss a tip from Elderly Wisdom Tips, where we believe aging isn't the end of the story, it's the best chapter yet. You've come this far. You're still growing, still learning, still living with wisdom. So, thank you for watching, for listening, and for being that example for others. Keep moving. Keep connecting. And most of all, keep living with purpose, heart, and pride. Until next time. Stay strong. Stay inspired. And remember, you are truly exceptional.